All right, glad to have you back. The African Development Bank Group, that's Abdul Kamara, Director General of the AfDB's Nigeria's country department, made this known recently, talking about more investments for Nigeria. It was in a meeting with Mr. Wale Edun where he said they would deepen collaboration in key sectors. Kamara's announcement of Nigeria's new strategy paper for the agricultural space reaffirms the AfDB's commitment to transformative projects in Nigeria. This includes the second phase of the National Agricultural Growth Scheme, which focuses on food security and rural development. He also highlighted infrastructure progress in the special agro-industrial processing zones, with advancement in Sokoto and planned expansion in Cross River and Kaduna states. Well, a lot of developments, a lot of moves across the board for Nigeria's agricultural sector. But really, where are we? Aside the strategy paper, aside all of this, where really are we? Africanfarmer Mogaji is live in the studio. Thank you so much. It's good to see you this afternoon.
Thank you for having me in your new studio on your program.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Great stuff. Well, I think already you were smiling during my introduction that we've come again with all our partnerships and all of the supports that we've been getting from international agencies. But of course, we need the supports and all of it. What do you make of the effort so far? I think we should do an overview. We had you discuss when we started the food security thing and all of it. Where are we with regards to all of these moves by the federal government?
Well, we're far way forward from where we started from. You know, my last two appearances with you, I was really concerned, analyzing the challenges. You know, we were more fairly stagnated. But right now, we can see quite a lot of progress from strategy to the table. A lot of things are beginning to work from strategy to table. In terms of, you know, food prices, beyond food prices, inputs, the 2.1 million bags of fertilizers that the president gave out actually is one of the reasons why we have food prices lower right now. Without that, we would have been in a different ball game. So, bottom line, at the helm of affairs in the Ministry of Agriculture, the Honorable Minister is also someone very down to earth. And beyond being down to earth, an economist who is also a practitioner who has played in a few value chains. And I have always been consistent about this in 10 years. That we need a politician who has a heart for the people and understands the value chain.
Because, you've always said that.
Yeah, I've always said that. A lot of agribusiness and food security in Nigeria has to do about managing people and having people in the right places. So, yes, we're not where we should be, but we're way ahead of where we were last year and early part of this year. So I'm optimistic.
That's a good one. Now, when we see supports like this unveiling of a new strategy paper for Nigeria's agricultural sector, yesterday we were talking about a paper too on, I think, the power sector. I said Nigeria is not short of documents or paper, you know, but the fact is, how well do we implement all of this to the latter? How does it put food on my table? That is what I'm interested in.
Good. So I can positively tell you, based on my interactions, and you know I always speak the facts.
Yes.
I can say to you, you know, I'm always concerned about those papers, but right now, things are moving forward. Things are getting better. Now the rubber is meeting the road. The strategy papers will take effect, they talk about it, but right now we're being able to be cascaded down to reality. So, and more than ever, I would say we're getting more private sector engaged. You know, it's the engagement, not the involvement. Engaging, okay, this is the paper brought from AfDB. It needs local hands, okay? And so in the ministry and practitioners, we're seeing a more open Ministry of Agriculture and that is engaging quite a lot of professionals, including myself. You know, basically, you know, there's nothing bad in asking questions.
Honestly.
And right now, I'm excited and happy, and it's looking like people are saying it looks like you're beginning to talk for government. I'm beginning to talk for progress, not for government. Government is implementing things that is giving us progress. The things we've been shouting about in 10 years, I am seeing it, and a few other colleagues are seeing it. So you are either looking at the glass half full or half empty, but I can tell you is half full, because anything you raise right now gets attention and is looked into. And that's what the collaboration between government and private sector is looking like. I'm not saying we're way where we should be, but we're on the right track.
You know, we always have this conversation about all year round farming and all of that. Yeah, then I saw the last inflation figures, I was a bit impressed. At least food inflation for some time now, we've seen a bit of decline in the figures that we see, but not where we are supposed to be, obviously. But that thing about all year round farming, what are those things to be put in place? Are we looking towards that direction so that we are sure of prices being stable for a particular period of time?
So let me, I'm happy now to share progress reports. Progress reports in sense that last year, in previous years, we don't start dry season farming early. And I speak to this, permit me to call myself an authority, 3 decades of irrigation farming, it's not joke. And I can say last year, dry season farming started early. Okay. There's been another support again this year. So we are producing more than previous years, and that is what is influencing the prices. It could have been bad, okay? But if we're going to do all year round farming, you must, be able to drag the belt of the governors. The governors need to pull their weight, especially the southern part of the country. They need to pull their weight. They have rivers lying fallow. They have dams that lying fallow. They have reservoirs lying fallow. They have farmers who can do the job. They have citizens who are hungry. We need to harness the resources we have. There's a lot of pull and a lot of progress at federal without complementary efforts from the government, which is state and local government. There will always be that break, but we're moving forward. However, you see, dry season farming is ideally for private sector, not even for government. We're supposed to ride on the platform of government. Right now, I would say this, and I say it boldly, the private sector and I use the word seem so that I won't be so much criticized. The private sector seem to be trapped in Nigeria's past. A lot of progress has happened and is happening, but we are still talking about the past instead of what should be done. We're not focusing on what has been done and what is being done. We're still looking at the past. So bottom line is that if we're going to harness all year round farming, we need the private sector to wake up. We need the state governments and local governments to wake up, and we need to do more with the youths, because all year round farming, it's a tedious job.
And I'm going to ask you, are we preparing the youths? Are we making farming so attractive for the youths to really come in? I was going to really ask that question, because you've been in this for years. We need to start having the younger ones come in. How attractive is Nigeria's agricultural sector? What are those things we could do to make it get as attractive as it should be? Everyone should want to get into agriculture.
Yes, speaking the language of the youth is very important. We need to improve on that. I would say this, about 2 weeks ago, the Minister of Agriculture did give me access to the colleges of agriculture and research institutes. Okay. I'm a product of one of the colleges, 2 of the colleges of agriculture, to say we need to begin to produce food. And last year, I recall also the minister and the past minister of education did have a conversation about growing foods in the universities, the polytechnics, colleges of agriculture, because they have space. And I believe that conversation should still be on the table. But bottom line, at the federal colleges of, you see, there's a difference between colleges of agriculture, federal colleges, and the universities. The federal colleges are trained on 2 years. At the end of 2 years, you're supposed to, you are trained to start. By year 1, in any of the colleges of agriculture, you are trained to start and finish 10 crops. Year 2, you are taking care of 7 livestock. So you've done this practical so you can go into it. So we also need a lot of support for the youth. I'm excited about the recapitalization of Bank of Agriculture. I'm also very excited about the development fund. Nigeria Agricultural Development Fund. Those funds are designed to unlock for the youths.
Yeah.
And I would be happy to see it really unlocked very fast. Because this year, because of climate change, you know, if we don't unlock funding fast, and if we don't engage the youths, especially at the colleges of agriculture, we may have a challenge. Because the heat, if you check the heat, in this year is really high, and as it's moving away from southwest, is gravitating towards the north. Yeah. That means it will affect vegetables, peppers, tomatoes, but the youths are the people we can quickly push in there, and I hope that will be done very, very fast.
Let's talk about land. I'm interested in that. Today, I had a report on the news. The Vice President is saying the federal government is working to establish sustainable land administration system in the country. Without lands, we can't farm. I saw the Edo State Governor too yesterday, I think, in one of the reports, giving hectares of land, I think, for agriculture, for farming, for food security and all of that. Where are we also? Are we getting that handshake from the federal government, state governments? Well, the state governments own the lands, I think.
Yes.
So how well are they in sync with promoting food security across the board?
I can count the states that are serious as the federal government with just one hand. I can count it, you know. And I always say this: Lagos is doing far better in terms of infrastructure, in terms of support of farmers. This year, Lagos State, for a whole month, has been giving out impulse to farmers.
Yeah.
You know, so if all states begin to do that before the planting season, it ensures that people start early. Okay, so bottom line is that there's still a lot of lip service at state level. You know, everybody should be assessed based on capacity, not what they are doing. Based on capacity, like Niger now, Niger is doing phenomenally well based on capacity. So we need Ogun and Oyo need to up the game for Nigeria's food security, you know, because regions differ, seasons differ. When the season is moving out of the core northern production for vegetables, it moves down south. But down south for 3 decades, I will tell you that, 3 decades have not upped the game. Okay, so South, Oyo, Ogun needs to up the game. There's nothing wrong in Oyo and Ogun also shipping tomatoes to the other parts of the country when there is shortfall of production. This is a lot of monies that can be made. We can, you know, and we're not looking at the value chain. There's a lot of empowerment happening, small, when you look at capacity. When you look at cleared lands, Oyo and Ogun has the highest cleared lands in the southwest. And so very soon, the prices of food will go up again because we're about to go into the rainy season, which is something that, you know, is normal. It's the off season. But being proactive to be able to take care of that, the Oyo and Ogun state governments have the lands. It will be good, you know, for us to see progress, for us to eliminate conversations around there's no tomatoes May, June, July, there's no peppers May, June, July, when you are at an advantage. So bottom line is that there are lands. I can beat my chest to tell you there are lands. There are government lands at federal and state and local government. As I sit with you on this table, I can unlock 200 hectares in 48 hours belonging to governments in various communities, but they are rural communities.
But can all of this come in form of partnerships and all of that? You know, they might not want you to take over their land in totality. Do that also happen in the agricultural space where you could farm, okay, you're giving us so percentage and there's an agreement or some? Because, you know, it's not always easy to let go of lands.
Do you know? You see, in this country, Nigeria, with my exposure and experience, government over the years, I'm talking about 20, 30 years, already have done so much that we've not maximized. The 200 hectare I'm talking about is federal government land. Wow. Not even private land that we rent. Even in Ogun State, there's a 350 acre cleared, just one tree on that land right now as we speak. And they are renting it out for 20,000 for 2.5 acres, 15 plots of land. So it's not that it's not affordable, it's not that it's not available, but are we harnessing it? Are we listening to the professionals? Are we listening to the community? So bottom line is coming up with programs where you bring in the input, they collaborate. That's what we do with the farmers. There's no point going to one village and start sitting down there when consultancy prices is really looking robust and good. So we need programs of collaboration. Collaboration is the next sustainability for Nigeria's food security. Collaboration.
Very important. Before we go, FGI's $1 billion Agric investments in 500,000 jobs by 2027. When we see all of these projections and outlooks, you are a player, and I'd like us to wrap this up with your projections and outlook for the entire sector. What do you think? If things are done regularly as they should be done, business as usual, you know, it's always in a two-way thing. If it's business as usual and we keep doing things the same way, there might not be more changes. But if things are done better, the way they should be done, what should be the outlook, particularly as how it affects inflation moving forward?
So I am still, and I use the word still optimistic. Why am I still optimistic? Because government at Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security is still listening and open and embracing private sector. That collaboration is increasing right now. You know, my data is always not on the good side all the time, but right now my data is looking like if we continue with what we're doing and push further, those numbers are small. When you look at the agri value chain, those numbers are small.
Wow.
Those numbers are small, they are real, they are achievable with the will of government and the commitment of the private sector. Those numbers are real. Insecurity has reduced. I didn't say it has vanished.
Yeah.
It has reduced.
Yeah.
A lot of things are happening. Some major rural roads are getting better. Okay, so bottom line is that if BOA opens up the vault with the 1.5 billion funding and they target 70% SMEs and small scale, 70, not the commercial, then we'll be able to achieve these numbers if we also now add cottage processing, because cottage processing ensures that we make more money, creates more opportunities. You know, let me wrap up with this.
Okay.
So there's this exhibition that has taken care for 10 years. Now, I'm just coming from there.
Yeah.
But guess what? While we were talking, they've paid for the venue for 2027.
Wow.
Not even 2026. Wow. They are seeing something.
Wow. Something is...
They're seeing something. And it excites me, okay? Foreigners are obsessed with Nigeria's future. Nigerians are trapped in Nigeria's past. We need to be obsessed with a bright future. And things are happening that we need to just focus on your focus. Leave politics, okay? Focus on agri. Focus on your focus, and that's what we're going to be doing. A few of us have decided that we will pull out more, we'll talk more, we'll encourage the youths more, we will encourage more. Because the more you show what is happening and what is available, the more the private sector can come in. There is money on the table that the private sector is currently not picking. There are dams and irrigation facilities as much as 40,000 naira for the infrastructure that will cost about 200-300 million that you rent. So there's a lot of things that we need to harness more, though government is not speaking out more. The Ministry of Agriculture needs to speak out more. The Ministry of Water Resources needs to speak out more. True. You know, the Vice President's office needs to speak out more. True. We need to hear more. I agree with you on that. The more we are able to project opportunities, the better for everybody, and those numbers will become real for us and will be food secure in record time.
Africanfarmer Mogaji, always a pleasure talking to you about the agricultural sector, and thank you so much for making it on the show today. We appreciate you. After your speech in that very big event, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for having interesting conversation as always. Africanfarmer Mogaji there for you. Do enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, and you too.
All right then, well, it's time to switch